this is Michelle with Creative Operation and Country Craft Creations, and I have another quick tutorial for you. I got an idea this morning and started working on it. I had some leftovers that I wanted to use, so I'm using the leftovers from my March design team package, Cardabellas on the Farm. It is a super cute collection. I did have a little bit of scraps, and I did have 5 pieces of the pattern paper left over, and then 1 sheet of the solid coordinating solids that came with the design team package. So I was trying to figure out what I could do, and then I got this great idea. So I have the Uniquely Creative metal dies for the folio. These are available in store. I will have a link down below that you can get these, and they're intended to mat the folios, the Uniquely Creative folios. But you can use these in and of themselves to create something. And then I got this idea, and this is kind of a play on another die set that I have, but I'm doing it a little bit bigger style, and I think you're going to like it. It's really super simple to do. So again, I'll have this link down below. I'll have all this stuff linked down below too, but I just wanted to kind of go through and show you what we're going to do. So these dies here I did not use out of the set, but I did use these 4 dies. Okay, so there's the smaller one here that I used. There's this one here that was for a flap for the folio that this is intended to, you know, mat. So I used this one, and then there's these 2 pieces here that I used. So the smaller one, let me get the measurements out here, is roughly 4 3/4 by about 6 7/8. And then the next size up that has that great edge, this one is, get that measurement for you, roughly 7 1/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, so I used these 4 pieces with the scraps that I had to kind of create something. So the first thing that I did was I used this particular one, and I decided I was going to use it like a binding piece. So I ran them through my die machine with the Artisan Baby Blue cardstock that I had. I had it out because I had used it for the baby album, but this color actually works really well with this collection. So I thought, well, why not use it while it's, you know, out? So I cut several of those, and that's what I'm going to use for the binding piece. And then I used the bigger of these dies here with the fancy edge, this one, to create pages. Okay, so you can see that's what created the pages. And then I thought, well, what else could I do with the rest of these dies? So I did use the smaller one to make some tags. I'm going to show you that in a second. These were used not only for the binding piece, but also for a pocket piece. So I used my scraps to create that. I'll show you more of that in a second. And then I used this one here to create some kind of page flaps. All right, so let's go through what I've made so far. And then I do have some that I'm going to show you how I put it together to show you the different elements. But they're pretty easy, and I think I ended up with 6 pages, and then I'm going to use the cut aparts that I had left over to kind of put in pockets and things like that. So I'll show you how to do these pages. These ones are already done. So again, I've done the binding, so I just die cut those pieces out of one, you know, or out of a sheet of Artisan blue cardstock, and then I punched the holes. Now the holes, I did the scoring. I'm going to show you this again on the other ones, but it's 3/4 of an inch in. And then when I centered the holes, I did it at 3/8 of an inch in, which gave me kind of my center point of the 3/4 inch score line. And I did it at the 0, and then I did it at the 2 1/4 inch from either side of the 0. So that's how I got the placement for these. And I'm going to bind it with this beautiful double-sided satin ribbon from Country Craft Creations. I'll also have this link down below too. This is gorgeous, and I think that the color works perfectly for this too, but we're going to use this for the binding. Now, if you don't want to use a ribbon binding like I'm going to do, you can also do things like you could just tie ribbons through each of the sets of holes. You could use book rings. There's several different things that you could do for the binding. You could even, if you wanted to, not punch holes and then just glue those 3/4 inch pieces together and then just have a book like that. So there's different ways to do that. I also went through my stash and I got some more twine because I used up all my twine for my design team package. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to use them in a couple ways, but I'm also going to show you, this is going to be used on the flap pages to keep them closed. So I just got a cute little paper clip going on for the closure, and I used some of the ribbon and the buttons that were left over and then some twine. So I'll show you how I put that together too. And then I also did get a bunch of ivory seam binding because I'm going to incorporate this into the project as well. In the previous project before, I used all of my fibers, all my ribbons, so I didn't have any left. So I had to go through my stash of Country Craft Creation stuff to find it. And then I also did have some flowers left over too, so we're going to incorporate those. All right, so binding piece here, and then here is my page. And then to decorate the page, you'll see that I did bind it so that I could tuck this 4x6 underneath it, and that's going to be the title of my little mini album. So I use my corner punch here that I love so much, the scallop. I use that on the edges, and it just, I think, looks really pretty on the cover here. So that's just glued on right there for the decorations. Then I'm going to add the flowers and things. On the back, I used that smaller punch again, or smaller die, to go ahead and create a pocket. And I just glued it on 3 sides. So, for example, I did pick out some... put this off to the side here like that. I did pick out some of my cut aparts, and I will kind of probably go around and do the edges, but these will tuck into that cute little pocket there. So I thought that was really fun. And then look, I get to keep my little goat that I love so much. So there's that. On the second page, again, I did the same binding here, and then I used that smaller tag or smaller die, and I cut out a tag, and so that will slip into this little pocket, and it will create a tag that you can pull out and use for photos and things like that. And I'm going to further decorate that as well. On the back of this one, I left plain because I want to do some photo mat things here. I'll show you that in a little bit. On this one here, I did the binding, and then I glued another piece instead of a pocket. On the bottom, I put it underneath. I tucked it under this and created 2 pockets on this, so we can put some things there. I did go ahead and you can put a big tag in that one here, and then you could put smaller ones in here, okay? And then on the back, I did glue on 3 sides another little smaller pocket. In this one here, no, I can't find it, but I'll show you in a little bit. But I was planning on putting some stuff in there. Then here's another one that I did where I just did the smaller die to create a little tag, and it just tucks into the pocket. And when we glue it in, I'll show you, I glued it on 3 sides, so it will kind of stick in there. On the back of this is where I used this die, and I die cut 2 pieces and then scored them and glued them on so that when you flip it up, you have a little page. And then this is where I'm going to use the clip to hold it closed, and then that'll be a pretty little accent for the page as well. Okay, so let me show you how to put the pages together. They're really super easy. So these pages are basically done. We will recreate them as we go. So this is going to be the next page, and I've got everything kind of clipped together so I can show you. Here is that binding piece. So what I did was I just put it in my scoreboard and scored it down at 3/4. Okay, and again, if you want, I'll show you how I figured out where to put the holes, and then just use my crocodile. So I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to lay that down so that it's 3/8 of an inch from the bottom, and the center is about 2 7/8. Okay, so that is the center. So I lined it up at the 3/8 of an inch spot, and then grab my pencil that has lead. That would be helpful. All right, and then I'm going to just draw some dots here. I'm going to draw at 0, just draw a little dot there, and then at 2 1/4, and then 2 1/4 on either side. Okay, so 0, 2 1/4 on either side, and it's 3/8 of an inch in from that edge. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my crocodile here, and I'm going to center that dot and just punch those holes. And that's how I did the binding. Okay, very easy. So I'm just centering that pencil mark and punching that through. Now, once you do one, you can just use it to line up all the other ones. So you don't have to measure every single time, but that's how you do it. Okay. So then I'm just going to fold this in both directions. Okay. And that's your binding piece. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over because I'm going to put glue here. And this is my page. So I want to make sure that I glue it the proper way. So I'm going to glue it to the back side, and I want to put this on top of this. So I'm going to grab my glue, and I'm just going to put some glue on the edge there, down by the score line, but not at the score line. I did get a little crazy right there. And then I'm going to take my page and just lay that down. Okay. I'm going to go to the right side of that score line because I want that to fold, okay, nicely. So I want to make sure it's not in the score line. All right, and then I'll turn that over. This is the front side of the page, okay? And that's literally all you have to do to bind that page, okay? So I'm going to leave this open for right now, and then I'm going to turn this over. And then what we're going to do is put a flap up, and then we're going to, put a flap down. And when I did these, I did the corners at the top. On the bottom one, the rounded corners are at the top, and on the top flap, the rounded corners are at the bottom. And then, so when I'm picturing this, when I open my flap, I want my trucks to be in the right orientation. So do take care to watch your pages when you do that. So then I'm going to take this bottom one, and on that straight edge, I'm just going to score it 1/2 inch, okay? And I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to do it again at 1/2 inch, just on both sides. Okay. So when you flip this page, we're going to glue that to the bottom. When you flip the page, the trucks will be in the right direction. Okay. So also scoring on both sides will help the paper not to rip. So we don't want that. This is pattern paper, and it can. So just be gentle and take care to do both sides, and it'll work just fine. Okay. And then you'll also notice that I didn't really go crazy with the bone folder in burnishing them either. I'm just doing it like with my finger. Okay. So just kind of a finger press. All right. And I'm just going to glue that to the bottom, and I'm kind of centering it. Going to do the same thing to the top. So here's that straight edge. Here's the curved edge. I want to score on that straight edge. And then I'm just going to, again, do it at half. I'll turn it over and do it again. Okay. This will score, or this will set at the top. So I'm just going to just finger press it down. Okay. And then we'll glue that to the top. And then I'm just going to match the sides here. They will overlap a little bit. About, how much will they overlap? About 1 inch. About 1 inch. So I'm just going to put glue on the back of that 1/2 inch. Line it up at the top and on the sides there, and then just lay that down and glue it down. Okay. Easy peasy. And that just makes cute little flaps. And I love the fact that you can make these do other things than do the, than the folio. You can use them in many different ways. So this is a fun little way to make a quick booklet out of scraps. Okay, so the last page here, I am going to use this as a tuck, so I'll show you how to do that. The one thing that I did not show you is this here. All you have to do is just glue it on the 3 sides, and then I glued it just a little bit up from the bottom and then tried to center it a little bit, and that's how I did that. But that's all I did after I die cut that piece out. So again, you're going to take your spine piece, your binding piece, and we're going to score it at 3/4 so we have enough room. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'll show you what I meant by lining up the holes, so you only have to do it once. If you take and line them up and then use a clip so they don't slide around, then what you can do is just use those holes as a guide to punch them out, okay? So I'm going to do it like this. I'm looking at it from the side, and that cutter piece is going right down into that hole. And then I'm just using that to line them up. Okay, so that's what I mean by doing it once. Now, if you wanted to do them all at the same time, you could totally, you know, do them all, punch them all, and then go to town, you know. So anyway, that's what I was just trying to say. So anyway, we have this piece. So again, let's just finger press this. Okay, and then we're going, this is a tag, so I don't want to use that. I do want this to go here because I want my back page to be the trucks. Okay, so I'm going to turn that over and glue on the 3 sides again. All right. Now these pages are just a wee bit less tall than the binding piece, so you will have a little bit of an overhang, and that's okay. That's just fine. But now what you've got is 3 sides glued, and then that's where you can kind of tuck that in as a tuck pocket. Okay, so that is the basics of making this album. So you can do all kinds of different things with this. So some other ideas would be to take like this piece here, and if we were pretending that this was the back of a page, you could score it at a 1/2 inch and make another flip here. You could do it on either side if you wanted to and make a little flip. You can take these and fold them in half and make them into cards. There's lots of possibilities. So, you know, let your imagination run wild. I'm just kind of doing kind of a basic thing, but I'll also, when I'm done showing you the things I wanted to show you, I will go back and decorate, and then I'll show you how it looks when I'm all done with the decorations. Okay, so now that we have all of our pages basically done, then what I'm going to do is do the binding, and what we're going to do is like a pamphlet stitch kind of binding with our ribbon. Okay, so I'm not going to cut it yet because I'm not really sure how much it's going to need, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the center hole first, and you might need something to poke the ribbon through that center hole. And I just love this ribbon. It is so pretty. Okay, so we're going to pull that through, and then we're going to go up. So we went from the top side, okay, down through the center hole. Then what we're going to do is go up through the bottom. Okay, like so. And I can tell I'm going to need more ribbon, so let's pull some more through, like so. And I'm keeping it kind of straight, so this is where you need to kind of decide which color you want on the outside. I think I want the more gold color to be on the outside, so I'm going to just turn my ribbon and kind of get that. So I have that going on. Okay, so now we've got down through the center, up through the bottom. Then we're going to take this piece here, and we're going to go all the way to the top, if I can get this and my fingers to work. So we're going to go all the way up to the top and poke that down through the top. Okay. All right. So now we have our ribbon that looks like this. Okay. So we've got the end here. We've got the other end up through the top. Then we're going to go back down through the center hole again. But what we're going to do is we're going to want to go on the other side of this ribbon. So we've got one side coming out this way. We want the other ribbon, this other end of the ribbon, to come out to the other side. So I'm just going to hold that out of the way, and I'm going to pop that in there like so. See how it's coming out the other side of this one right here. So let's make sure everything is looking the way we want it, and it is. And then we need to tie a bow, so I might have just a little too much now, so we can adjust. Okay, so pull that out just a little bit maybe, and pull that. Okay, so we have that beautiful ribbon there. We have the back here. It's looking good. You can tweak it a little bit if you need to. Okay. All right, so we have our ribbon. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tie it into a bow. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it now. Okay, so here's my leftover ribbon. I kind of pull it tight, and I'm just going to tie my bow. There we go. So then you can tweak it again. I love this double-sided ribbon. I think it's so pretty. Okay, so let's trim. And then I'm going to just take I'm going to take a lighter, and I'm going to burn the ends. And I just want you to be very careful when you do that. I'm just going to just lightly go just right at the ends and just melt that just a little bit, okay? And that will help keep the ribbon from fraying. So just a little quick. That was a big flame too. So there is the binding. So that's it. That's a pamphlet stitch binding for this book. Look how cute this is. Look how adorable. Okay, so I wanted to show you that, and then I want to show you how to make this little paper clip, and it's so super simple. It's super simple. So I'm just going to take my paper clip, and I'm using ones that are about, I think they're an inch long. Yeah, they're a little bit over an inch long. So you can use, you know, any paper clip you want. And I did cut my ribbon a little bit too long, but that's okay. That's okay. So that's the first thing you want to do. And then I'm going to kind of just clip that. As a matter of fact, well, no, I'm not. Never mind. So I'm just going to clip it just to keep it where it needs to be. Then I'm going to take a piece of twine, and I'm cutting enough to where I can tie a bow. And I'm just going to thread it through my button. These buttons are the granny buttons that I got in my design team package. And I've used quite a lot of them in this project. I'm going to use some on the cover as well. So I'm just going to wrap that around, maybe, if I can get my fingers to work. Okay, so we're going to just thread that through, and then I'm just going to put it around the ribbon. Okay, so I'm just going up around the paper clip, and then push that down. Okay, and that's going to just tie at the top of that little paper clip and make this cute little bow. So what I'm going to do, and this is a trick that you might want to use, especially if you have things that are kind of slippery and don't want to set knots. When you go to tie your first knot for your bow, and you always go around once, just go around a second time. And when you do that, it kind of seats and stays. Okay, little trick I learned. So pull it tight, but be careful because this jute will break if you pull it too tight. And then we're going to just tie a little bow and get it to where you want it, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to trim the ends, and you have your little cute paper clip. And then all you have to do now is just trim your ribbon to the length you want. And then again, we're going to grab that lighter, just lightly go on the edges of that ribbon, melt it so it won't fray, and there you go. Now before or when I get done, I'm going to put glue on the knot just to make sure that the twine doesn't come undone, you know, kind of just glue that knot. But this is what is going to go onto our page here to keep that closed. Okay, so that is that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm going to finish the decorating of this and put the little tags in and everything, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, y'all, I have finished my project and decorated it, and I think it just turned out really cute, and it's a great way to use those dies in another way. And again, these are the dies from Uniquely Creative. I'll show you the packaging here. These are the dies that I didn't use, but I do have the dies that I did use, and we talked about that during the tutorial. So yeah, this is just a great way to be able to use these dies in one more way. So I showed you how to do the binding. So it's just a pamphlet stitch binding with the ribbon, and it holds it very securely. On the front here, I added some more of the buttons that I received in my design team package. So in a couple different places, I did use the twine to do some bows behind that, and then added the rest of the flowers that I had left over. So there's the front of my little book, and then the back I just left plain. So when we open it up, I did put some cut aparts in this pocket here, and I did use the little welcome sticker up here. On this one, I put this into the pocket, and I used a 4x6 cut apart to go ahead and decorate that, and I used my edge punch on that. And then I used some of the ivory seam binding to go ahead and I punched an 1/8 inch of a hole in there, and then just tied a ribbon through it. So that's a nice little tag pocket right there. On this one, I used one of the cut aparts for journaling, and then here is a photo mat, and these are both 3x4, and then I used one of the leftover flowers that I had to put right in this middle of that, and I thought that was a cute way to do that page, make a photo mat. On the double pocket page here, I put this cut apart in this pocket, and I put this cut apart in the other one, and I used my edge punch on that, and I might go back and do some edge punching on the other ones too, but that one is pretty simple. On this page, the pocket, I used my little goat sticker that says best day ever, because he's just too cute, and I put a couple of the cut aparts in the pocket here. So that is cute, and there's lots of room. You could put photos in the pocket. You can do all kinds of things. In this pocket here, we have the 4x4 that says Farm Kid on it, and then this one, I added this one. This was a 3x4 cut apart, and I just trimmed around the banner and glued it at the top and the side, and then put the photo mat here so you can tuck the picture underneath, and then again use the ivory seam binding for that. The back is plain, so that pops in here, that goes in here, and then we turn the page. We have this piece here. Now, I went ahead and added a little piece to the top flap. So this is one of the cut aparts, and I backed it on a scrap piece of the coordinating cardstock, and then it lifts up, and then underneath here I put a photo mat, and then the little Best Friends banner title that they had in the kit. So then that closes like this, and then we'll use my little paper clip, and we'll go ahead and put that on there. So that's just another decorative piece, and then it also keeps it closed, so that's kind of cute. And then in this one here, I had a leftover piece of pattern paper that was 6x12, so I just created an accordion booklet and put one of the cut aparts on the front, and then that will just tuck into that pocket right there. Then we have our other flap page. So again, this is the one that we made on camera. I still need to put a little bit of glue on the knot. I used a sticker on the, and then backed it with a piece of the pattern paper that was left over. And then I used this little cut apart piece that says welcome to our crazy coop. And then when you open this up, there's another photo mat, and then the little banner that says our family underneath that. And then this just closes up, and then paper clips shut like that. And then on the last page, we have a couple things. So I made the tag, and this one here has a sticker. It says, "We will love you till the cows come home." I backed it on a little piece that was left over, and then did it so that you could tuck a picture underneath there. So that would hold a really nice size picture. And then I had this piece that was, how big was it? 4x10. And I just folded it, and I put the cut apart on the front here, and then I put one of the stickers that says the best memories are made on the farm here. So that's another little booklet that you could put several more pictures in, and that just tucks into that little pocket. So that is the project. So this is part of my March design team package for Country Craft Creations. This is Cartabella's on the farm, and this is a little tag booklet, I guess we could call it, that is made with the uniquely creative metal dies. Just another way to reuse those and make something totally different with them. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. Let me know what you think. And all of the supplies that I used here, including the stuff that I grabbed from my Country Craft Creations stash, will be listed down below if you want to go check it out in the stores. So thanks so much for watching. Have a great evening, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Stay crafty. Bye-bye.